What's up guys, Grant with the Noble Dogs. I'm over here with Nozomi and we're showing you how to get his walk started. This is literally from the moment you get home to a fantastic walk. So this is gonna be literally start to finish. You're gonna see how she starts off, and at the end of the walk, literally we're gonna be able to walk her with their pinky out, buy dogs, buy distractions, and have an amazing experience. So first things first, it all starts with how you actually first interact with the dog. First impressions are everything. So fortunately, she's crate trained, but the key is we want to make sure that the crate is a psychological barrier, not a physical barrier. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna go like this, we're gonna open the crate, and if she tries to get out, we're gonna bump her with the crate door. We're gonna open the crate, bump her with the crate door. Teaching her that just because the door's open doesn't mean she can get out. And the reason why we wanna do that is it translates into every area of our life. When the front door is open, you don't run out. When the car door is open, when you don't run out. And in this specific situation, it's when the crate door opens. And this is something that we can practice every day. So we open it, close it. Open it, close it. Open it, close it. Open it, close it. Now you don't have to hit them in the head with it, but if you do, you are gonna get the results a lot faster and get the message across a lot clearer. Just make sure that you don't do it too hard because we don't want her to have an adverse response to the crate, but you're trying to find that sweet spot where she does understand that it is unacceptable to barge through the front door. Now, you see how I'm stepping out to the side and she has a clear view of the crate? I want to make sure that she has every possible opportunity to run out the crate. That way it's not a false experience where it's like, oh, she does great, but if I'm standing right there. So we want to make sure that she has every opportunity to make good and poor decisions. That way, when we're not paying attention or it's not us around, we don't have to be there to influence her decision. The whole purpose of our training is to create active dogs. Thank you, Duke Ferguson, for teaching me that. And what that is dogs that do the behavior on their own without instruction. So you have a dog that behaves absolutely spectacular and you don't need a single command. Now, you're gonna have commands out of convenience, but you don't need them out of necessity because they're gonna be making good conscious choices without instruction. So open the crate, close it. Open it, close it. Open it, close it. Now I'm gonna move over here just to get the leash on. Okay. Open it, close it. Open it, close it. Okay. And we're using no words, guys. No words. Reason why we're not using a lot of words is because a lot of times when you're first learning a behavior, when you're doing words, if it's not working perfectly, you're gonna get frustrated or you're just a little frustrated. So you wanna make sure that you're happy and focus on your breathing. Now we're gonna go in. I've got the one hand right here to close it if I need to. Boom, I'm going in. I'm gonna latch up right here. Perfect. And now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna tell her come. You can say break if you want her to be in a break mode, but we're starting off our walk, so we're gonna say come to start off on a strong, structured tone. So we've got it right here. Same thing. I'm opening and closing the crate. This is what I do every time, guys. Come. Perfect. Now, right now, Nozomi is no. Sit. Good. No. Sit. Good. The key in dog training, no. Sit. Good. No. Sit. Good. Now, the key in dog training is you have to do correction, direction, then affection. So you have to correct the negative behavior and then direct them in what they're supposed to do instead. So let's say I left a cup on the counter. You might say, hey Grant, will you please don't leave the cup on the counter. I'm gonna think, okay, well what am I supposed to do instead? Instead of leaving the cup on the counter, put it in the sink. Okay, perfect, thank you. Would you like a glass of water? Bam. Correction, direction, then affection. So a lot of times what happens is when the dog's doing a negative behavior, nobody wants to correct. I totally get it. But what we need to do, and they tell the dog sit because they're trying to prevent the dog from jumping. What we want to do is let them make their own decision so that they think for themselves, they get corrected, they look to us for guidance, like, well, what am I supposed to do? Use one of their known commands, then give direction. And thank you, Roddy Kirk in Scotland with Pack Leader Dog Train for teaching me that. So it's correction, direction, then affection with every behavior. That way, they understand what to do. And we could do similar thing with the crate, bump with the crate door, sit, something like that, but typically silent is better. So we're going like this, and I'm giving her every opportunity to jump on me because I don't want to have my dog in a command 24/7. I want to be able to have my dog in break mode, living their life, having a great time, but I want them to be well behaved because by doing this style of training where you allow them to think autonomously, correct, direct, then give affection, what happens is instead of she thinks for herself, okay, I'm not in a command. What should I do? If I jump, I'm going to get corrected and told sit, and then I'm going to get love. How about I just skip the whole correction part and go right to just getting the love? That's how it works. So we've got that going. We addressed it. We started it off. Now, when you have a dog that you might have issues with potty training with, it's critical that they do not smell the floor. You don't want any smelling going on. Now, we don't have an issue with that right now, but I do want to address that just for the viewers at home, that if you take your dog out of a crate, particularly a puppy, and starts smelling, keep that head up. Don't allow them to smell at all in the house because smelling directly relates to going to the bathroom. So we're going to get over here. We're going to walk right over here. Okay. Now I'm just going to sit down here. I'm not going to say a word. I'm going to let her make her own choice. She doesn't have to sit, but if she's tempted with making a poor choice, I want her to have that alternative. So, there we go. We've got the prong collar. Reason why we're using a 2.25 millimeter prong collar is because she has thin hair. So if they have thin hair, the 2.25 prong collar is the most comfortable option for the dog because it has so many links that it evenly distributes the pressure greater, and because it has less links, you're able to get a more accurate fit. But if you have a dog with really long hair, your only option is a 3 millimeter prong collar because it will avoid the hair getting stuck. If we use this on a husky, that husky will absorb this. So now, the reality of dog training is it's not if, it's when the prong collar is going to bust off. That is literally the worst thing, especially about these 2.25 millimeter prong collars. They were 100% going to bust off at some point in their life. So what we do is we get a carabiner, it's right here, and we attach it to a regular collar so that, God forbid, the prong collar falls off, she's at least attached to a regular collar. Now with Nozomi, she's a very friendly, happy dog, a little reactivity, no big deal. So I'm not super concerned about oh, she's so cute. Oh, you're good, happy dog. Are you gonna jump again? You're gonna try and jump? No. Sit. Hey, Nugget. You gotta sit. Good girl. There you go. And you can see as they understand the training a little bit better, you can really address those negative behaviors because they have that positive training to fall back on. So, don't know where I was going with this, but I was super happy. We've got the 2.25 millimeter prong collar. Where I was going with this is because she's so friendly and awesome, I'm not so stressed out about the safety of this collar. But if you have a really, dangerous dog, you want to have a dominant dog collar. It's a different style of collar instead of this, which can reduce the airflow and will not come off your dog. So if the prong collar busts off and you are in a situation, you can pull up on the dominant dog collar and it will demotivate the dog in that moment. And that's the best collar you can use with a truly aggressive dog because if they're really trying to attack something, this does not choke at all. This actually keeps the dog's windpipe completely open and allows them to breathe, and it's the best feeling collar. But if you do need to reduce the oxygen levels because of the level of aggression, the dominant dog collar from Learberg is the only collar you want to use for that. So the way that we want to do this fit, and I'm oversizing the fit just to show you guys really quick, is you want it to fit to where this just effortlessly goes right in here. See that? It just effortlessly goes right in. Now, if I have to force it on, even like that, I can get it on there, but I have to force it. That's too tight. And if I can easily get it into the next one, that's too loose. We love you. We love you. That's too loose. That's too loose. So we're trying to find that perfect fit. So, oh man, love my job. All right, so we're gonna get this going. Highest part of the neck. Reason why we want to do that is because when you put it on the highest part of the neck, it gives you more leverage, as well as it's the safest part on the neck for the dog. So I can put a lot of pressure. Let me see. Maybe one more. See right here, I'd have to force it onto that next one. You know, barely force it, but I'd rather not. I'd rather not. And then it should rotate. That's how you can tell if it's on there correctly. See, highest part of the neck. Boom. Okay. And just make sure no matter what that it's not tangled. So if it's tangled, that is really not pleasant for the dogs. So it's designed to work. Like, this is actually the most critical part of the prong collar. This is why people hate, like, why people are opposed to prong collars. They put it on incorrectly. You need to clip it into the swiveling portion, I can do this, happy days, totally good. If it's tangled like this, all the one or two prongs just jab in. It's not pleasant. They just jab in. You can even see it happening right to my thumb. And then the worst one, which please don't do this, is if you pull it on the circle, it seizes up and it won't loosen, so it constantly stays tight. So before you ever get it on your dog, make sure it's flowing like this. And you guys hear that noise? If it's making that noise, you're totally good. Okay, so we got it on there. Boom, we're gonna rotate it around. Perfect fit. We've got our carabiner right here. We're gonna clip it in right here. And then we're gonna clip it to the regular collar. That way, God forbid it pops off, we're still attached to something. Okay. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna get started with the training. We're gonna be doing what is called the prong collar dance, just getting her used to the prong collar. Now, the key in dog training is low-level education, low-level correction. So whenever I first come into a client's house and I work with their dog, I always assume that the dog has literally no idea what I'm talking about. And so I just go right from the basics, super gentle, and I up the level of pressure depending on the dog's level of education. So if I've been working on it for an hour and the dog's really looking good, but it's starting to kind of push the limits, I'll start to add a little bit more pressure because I understand that the dog understands. But the same way that if I didn't know Spanish, you would never yell at me in Spanish because it wouldn't help. You want to make sure that before you ever raise your voice in a foreign language, this is a foreign language, that the dog has an understanding of why and what exactly is going on. Now, for behavioral stuff, jumping, nipping, getting in the trash, barking, hard correction right off the jump because it takes no level of education. It doesn't take a level of education to know not to touch a cactus, but it does take a level of education to understand a language. So it's very important that when we do the training, if it's something behavioral, let's say reactivity, she starts looking at a dog she wants to bark at. We're going hard with that. But if it's just gentle pulling and maybe just a little bit of a misunderstanding, we're gonna be very kind and gentle with that. And the more that the dog understands what the expectations are, the less fallback you'll have when you do address negative behavioral issues because they understand what they're supposed to do. So what we're gonna do is we are going to teach her to give into the prong collar. Now, being that she has experience with a slip leash, I think we're gonna have very little pushback with the prong collar, but dogs that have never been on a collar or any leash in general, what they may do is they may flop on the ground, make weird audible noises, bite the leash, jump out of the air, roll on their back. There's a lot of things that they'll do to protest. One of the things I always like to do is put the prong collar on yourself on something with fabric or a lot of hair and pull first so you have an understanding of what it feels like. That way you're like, oh, this doesn't hurt at all. It's actually way more comfortable than a slip leash, like for sure. As long as there's hair or something to reduce the friction. But just be very aware of that when you first start a prong collar. It's not pain, it's protest, and just work them through it. It may take 5 to 10 minutes, but they'll never do it again. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna throw some food on the ground. Just let her get it right off the ground, no big deal. Just gonna let her eat it, okay? What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put a little bit of pressure on this leash, just like this, and get her to come back and get the food from here. I'm just gonna let her go back and get it again. This is not like a training thing, this is just a conditioning thing to the leash. Because if I can't even get her to, and she's doing amazing, we're not gonna have to do this for too long, but this is gonna go so well. Okay, sweet. But if I can't even get her gently to come off of food with the leash, how can I ever expect that she'll do it with the dog or another person? And I want to set her up for success before I leave the house. That way I ensure that I know how she's going to react. And she reacted absolutely beautifully. So I know that we're going to have a great experience. So no more of that. She did great. She didn't flop on the ground. She didn't panic or anything like that. So we're ready to train. What I do is I use the dog's daily food for the training. I don't recommend using treats unless absolutely necessary. Reason for that is if you use treats in the training, typically they can have a dietary imbalance. And also too, with some specific dogs, they'll have competing treats where at a certain point, no treat's gonna work and your dog won't even eat the food for up to a week. So rather than having to risk stagnation in the training, I prefer that you guys use your daily food for training. And if you guys are using raw food, no problem. There's a company called Raw Alternative that offers a really good, inexpensive dog food that is raw, but smashed into the shape of a treat that you can use for a small extended time during the training. It has the same nutrient value as raw food, so you don't have to worry about the dogs having like a hard time transitioning, because nobody wants to get a spoon with some raw food or with a glove or something like that. So we're getting started at the door. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tell her sit. Now I don't expect her to sit at all, but I do want to allow her to make a good decision and understand on the base level what I want. Now I'm not requiring her to sit, but I am requiring that she does not forge out the door without permission. In the beginning of training, we're gonna keep her 90% of the time in a very structured, no freedom, no smelling walk. And then we're gonna give her 10 to 20% of her experience on free. Now, when your dog's trained, like we're gonna get her Nozomi like flawlessly trained. You'll see the videos, it's gonna be insane. You'll do whatever you want. You wanna tell break right out the front door? Say break right out the front door. You wanna just let the dog be on break the most of the walk? Great. I like my dog to be on break 80 to 90% of the time when my dog is trained fully off leash. Because I don't care. Don't go in the street. Don't bark at a dog. Don't approach a random stranger. Don't pick stuff off the ground. You can be free. I do not care. But if I need you to listen, I need that to happen right away. So in the beginning, we have to teach. Thank you, Sherry Lucas, for enforcing this with me. It's compliance before privilege. So we need to get that compliance first. So we're going to get her over here. Perfect. And go, Nozomi, sit. Good. Beautiful job. Perfect. And now I'm going to open up the front door. No big deal. I'm going to let her make her own choice. Again, autonomy. Let her make her own choice. Wrong choice. Going to go back over here. Let her use her brain. See if she can process it. Bam. Pause. Don't always help. Don't always say sit. Don't always give the help. The less body language that you can do to get the result, the better. One of my friends, Jeremy, with Dopamine Canine in Oregon, I don't do it this way, but he did it. It was freaking amazing. Is he doesn't make any eye contact with the dogs when he talks, because you know what that means? He never has to make eye contact with the dog to listen. It's a beautiful thing. He's like in the other room, like down, sit, and the dog's doing it because he never made eye contact when he spoke, so it was never required for the dog to listen. So just try to really compose yourself with your body language. You don't have to do it like Jeremy, but something on that variation will help for sure. So just try not to be super transparent with the body language. So we're gonna open up the door again. Stand right here. Let her make a choice. Beautiful choice, and now we're gonna walk through it. How do you feel so far, Brad?
Great.
Okay, awesome.
I guess question about the camera. Sometimes it's hard to get vertical shot since I'm holding it horizontal.
Yeah.
I don't want to just randomly switch. So do you prefer it to just stay like this? Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Awesome. Did you want your name to be kept out of the video?
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't care.
Okay, cool.
And just for whatever it's worth, it's Nijoni with an N.
Nijoni.
No worries.
Nijoni. Good.
Like she'll ever like hear it.
Nijoni, I need your Okay.
All right.
So we're out the front door. We're starting our walk. One of the wonderful things that Brent did was he actually laid the most amazing foundation. And how we did it was we did it by watching Larry Crone's pet competition training video. So I'd recommend doing that. Thank you, Larry Crone, Mount Rushmore dog trainers. And now we have a really good foundation so she understands what the expectation is. So what we're going to be doing is, is left side good or right side? Which side have you trained her on?
On my left.
Left? Okay. So what we want to do is we want to put her foot on our heel, and that's where the term heel came from. So the term heel came from when your dog's foot is on your heel. Now, the second step, this is the most important step for you guys at home. Now, if you're a single person family, this is really easy. If you have multiple people and you really want to make it just easy, I'd maybe get 3 leashes. What you do is you hold the leash in a way, and then you tie a knot, and you hold the leash like this. I learned that from James. He's one of my trainers. Hold it like this, where I like that style of grip now. And what you do, get your back right, get your body right, get your mind right. And you want to pull the leash back with your body up and see how if she's in the right position, she does not feel the leash. That's so critical because then you never have to feel guilty about pulling on the leash. If I just yank it, she's never going to feel it. But if she's out of position, she will. So a lot of the times I'll say, yank the leash, yank the leash, yank the leash. And a lot of my clients justifiably think, why are you yanking on the leash? My dog seems to be doing great. The key is, instead of thinking about being good, I want you to build the muscle memory so that way you know instinctually when she's good. Because when there's distractions, right now we're in Little Italy in downtown, there's a lot going on. We're not gonna have, see, boom, and then I pull. You see, she went down, I pulled, boom, immediately went right back into the right position. So the thing is, we want to have things that are fail-safes that we don't even have to think about. So that way, when in doubt, yank the leash. It's totally fine. You don't have to think, oh my God, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? If you have a correct measurement, you're totally fine. And take as much time as it takes to get that correct measurement. Because what you don't want to do is yank her when she is being good, because then she's not even going to try. And so that's the biggest thing, is just make sure that this is this, there, she's not feeling it, and like this too. You can kind of yank towards your back and you don't feel it. That's the name of the game. We're gonna get started. Now, when you're first starting this, guys, I don't expect you guys to do it to this level of training. All I need you guys to do is just use the leash. But as you progress in the training, this is the most humane, best possible way to do the training. But when you're at home and you're just trying to figure this out, just use the leash. Do not even worry about what I'm doing with the food. Don't even worry about the commands. I don't even want you guys to talk or use food. Do all of that in the home. So you can practice that in the home with the Larry Crone video. And then when you get outside, watch what I do with the leash here. Don't worry about the food until you've got a little bit more experience. What I'm going to be doing is, every time that she does what I don't want her to do, I'm going to say no and yank. Then I'm going to repeat the command that I do want her to do. Reason why I do that, thank you, Christina from Southland Canine in Tallahassee, Florida. If you yank with the command, if you say come and you yank, what typically happens is the dogs will start flinching on the commands. If you say sit and you yank, the dog will start flinching when you say the command. It's very, very subtle, but it's not anything I want. And she taught me that. I couldn't figure out why my dogs were doing it. I was like, I'm being good. I can't figure it out. And she told me that right off the jump. Boom, stop yanking with the command, yank with no. That way the only word the dog doesn't like is no. And then every other command is guidance with food. So that way, and I did that and it really affected my career in a positive way. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna yank with the word no, then we're gonna say come, followed by food. Now again, don't even worry about using the food or the commands right now. Just start with the leash and just get that discipline. But as things start to become habits, it's like juggling. 1, 2, 3, and eventually you'll get it. So we're gonna get started. Come. Good. A lot of times, even in the beginning, I don't talk because I'm just trying to get a good feel, trying to get a rhythm. Come. Good. I have my food ready in the hand. Come. And the thing is, it's a lot of attention to detail. You know, with a real tight heel, it's a lot about attention to detail. As we go, I'll teach you how to give her the free command, but right now it's all about structure. Come. Good. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. What girl? We love you, girl. No. Now, a lot of times it's too challenging to reward the dog while you're moving, so I'll start to say positive stuff, and sometimes it's even too challenging to pet, so I'll just say positive stuff when they're actually doing the right behavior. Because if you don't do that, what can happen habitually is that they're like, oh, I need to eat to survive. Every time I get yanked, that's how I get fed. So I'm trying eventually, not to do yank and then food, but ideally like feeding while you walk, but this is the best first step. Come. Good. Key with all words is you want to say the word stationary and then go and reward. Key with the dog training is there's two typical reward markers that are used in standard best practice dog training. Good and the word yes. Good means good job, I'm going to reward you, continue the same behavior you're doing and don't change anything. Yes means you did a great job, come to me to receive the reward. So it's totally different. And a lot of the times when you say yes, you're trying to induce some type of movement and excitement. With good, you're trying to create some type of calmness. So for this, we're going to be doing a lot of good. I historically don't use yes, but it is the best practice in dog training is to say yes when you want the dog to come to you and good when you want to go to the dog. So we're going to do the same thing here with the elevator. Stop, bam. Now you might not have the luxury, but we have time. There's nobody right in here. You want thresholds are extremely important. We're going to come in here. Perfect. So we're in a condo right now and we're in an elevator, which a lot of times can be a very challenging location for people. What we want to do is just keep her in that same position. You might say sit if your dog knows a really good sit. Just be aware that if you do say sit, you are required to say come. So I'm just going to say sit. Good. And show you what to do. No. Good. Now I'm going to say come and start walking. So it looks good so far. We've got a dog right here. Now the key is you want to keep moving. You want to keep moving. You do not want to stop. What happens when you stop is the mind freezes. The mind starts to fixate. A lot of people, at home, what they'll do when they're at home, what they'll do is they'll tell their dogs stop, sit, they'll try and get to eye contact, something like that to prevent reactivity. I found that it's not what you want to do. I found that what you want to do is you want to go right towards the issue. As soon as you see that the dog may be reactive, retreat immediately and start yanking. And so that what happens is the dog realizes, why did I get yanked? Oh, it's not because of the dog, it's because my owner left and I wasn't paying attention. So the key is everything that you do, you want it to think that it's the dog, is something that the dog can control. So if you're sitting there yanking, the dog's like, what can I do? You told me sit, I'm here, I'm freaking out, like where am I supposed to go? And I want to teach them that if you're nervous, move away. And if I'm moving away and you're not following, you need to follow. Now as you get more experience, what's going to happen is you'll be able to push that limit and keep going closer and farther. But for right now, that's what I would like you to do. And the key is we're not doing this where we're turning our back, because then we have no idea what's going on. We have literally no clue. So what we want to do is we want to go like this. Whoops, sorry, tiger. Moonwalk back like this. Okay. Boom. And then go forwards. Going towards the distraction. Moonwalk back. She's not paying attention. She's like, why did I get pulled? Boom. And Brent already knows, what does this look like? Competition heel work that we did in the hall. Looks just like the competition heel work. So we're like this. Boom. Now, Brent, bless you, man. Bless you, dude. Oh my God. So one of the critical things that I do with the training to see how the dog's doing mentally is be very aware of if the dog's eating. So we know the dog's hungry. We know that our dog's really hungry. And so there's no reason why our dog shouldn't be eating. And you saw, she was eating just fine all those other times. And if I yanked the leash right there and then it was really hard for her to eat, I know that it was probably, I put her in a situation that was too challenging, or maybe I yanked hard or something was going on, that I put her in a situation where she wasn't mentally ready for it. No problem, stop the training, go off somewhere that's easy, safe break, start playing with your dog, start wrestling with your dog, try to snap their mind out of it, have a good time, offer them food, boom, they take the food, boom, now we can start training again. But if they just flatline, I always think of the food, like the speed of the food that they're eating, I'm like, oh, they're feeling good about the training. I can keep going harder, I start feeling the food level decrease and they're like a little bit more tentative. I'm like, ooh, take it easier, and then I start feeling it go up. And if I flatlines, like, I'm like, oh God, break, and I start playing with the dog and trying to have fun. And that's why I always recommend after you pull giving food initially, because it really gets you in that heartbeat of how your dog's actually feeling about the training. Because I can't tell, I mean, it's hard, they look fine, their tail's up, their eyes look normal, they're breathing, like, it's very hard to see like that, what's going on in their head. But you can tell it exactly, feedback with the food. Yep, so come. So we're doing this. And this is the name of the game. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk her, I'm going to get her on autopilot, and I'm going to show you guys how to get her free. Now, I have to show Brent how to get her free right now because he lives in a condo and we need her to go to the bathroom on the walk. That's a non-negotiable. But if you live in a house and you are really, really struggling, I would advise for a week or two, do not even give your dog any freedom on the walk. Because the thing is, when you start transitioning between calm and free, it can be a little bit challenging to shift your mindset between free walk and come walk, and then it can become challenging to really grasp the techniques. But right now, we have to show Brent how to have a free walk because she does need to go to the bathroom, so you're going to learn both. But if you're at home and you are really, really struggling and you're at a loss, do not give a free walk if you have the ability to have your dog go to the bathroom in the backyard. Eventually you'll be able to give the free walk. Right now I have to do both because it's no option. And Brent luckily is like super good at dog training. Like literally, I watched one video, he sent me it, and he's like, how's it look? I'm like, absolutely perfect. So he's gonna be able to do it, but if you guys are very challenged and you have a backyard, don't feel, it's totally okay to not give your dog freedom for at least a couple weeks until you get a grasp on everything. Come. So right here, perfect. Opening the door, letting her make a choice. Hello. Wrong choice. Bam. There we go. And we're walking through. Come on, little nugget. There you go, little nugget. There you go. Beep, 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 beep. Awesome. So, where do you think's the most fun area we can walk right now?
Fun?
Which direction? Busy, fun?
That way.
That way to the left? Okay, awesome. So what I do is, the way that I do the walk is that I don't give my dog freedom until I'm not pulling on the leash. If I'm still pulling on the leash like every 5-10 seconds, I'm not gonna give my dog freedom. But once I'm thinking, oh my God, I feel amazing, this is so easy, I'm gonna give the dog a break because I feel like I can mentally take a break. But if I'm like da-da-da-da, pulling all the time, no freedom. So same deal, come. We got another dog, so watch her behavior, okay? Watch her ears, good. Okay, watch her ears, everything looks good. Little pull, food, very aware if she looks. Little pull, food, perfect. Stop, voila. Kind of see how that works, but I'm ready. I'm watching the behavior, I'm moving, I'm seeing if she's following. Come. good right now. Now, this amount of time on the walk right here, like this, I can give her some freedom. She's looking good. She's looking really good. So I can give her some freedom. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give her a little bit of freedom right now. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you 3 other techniques on what we need to do to truly master the walk once we get her off of freedom. And once we've done that, I'll have Brent take over and rock and roll. So what we're gonna do is, now, we'll walk over here just for a second because it's for the audio. Come. So this is how you get an A+ effort with the noble dogs. If you can do this, bless you. I will immortalize you. I'll give you like a little bronze statue or something. Like if you can do this next step, you're doing amazing. If not, it's totally fine. What I want, in an ideal world, what I'd like for every client to do is before they tell their dog free, actually work a sit exercise. And the reason why I'd like you guys to do that is, if I say work sit exercises in your house for an hour, how many of you guys are gonna do that? Very few. You work hard, you know, you don't have a lot of time, you know, and it's not that entertaining to do it for an hour or something at home. But if you can do it every time before you tell your dog free, now you're working it in your normal routine. It doesn't become like some exercise, it's just a part of life. If I wanna tell my dog free, I have to do sit. If I don't feel comfortable with doing sit, I'm not gonna tell my dog free. And dogs are very contextual. So if you do sit only in your home, they're only gonna respond in your home. But you're gonna be walking, taking your dog random places, and that means you're doing sit in a bunch of different random places. So if you walk your dog, hypothetically you take your dog and you let him be free 3 times on the walk, that means you work sit 3 times on the walk, which means that the dog is learning sit in 3 different places, and it really loves the sit command because it knows that that's gonna give it freedom. So it's mutually beneficial in every way. So I'm gonna show you how to do the sit, and then we're gonna give her some freedom. Okay, sit. Good. Okay. Come. We have a dog, so I'm just breaking her out of the sit. What I wanna do is I wanna position myself with an escape route. Where can I go? I can go this way. I'm pulling, and rewarding. I just wanna make, I'm pulling, and rewarding. It's all about having that escape route. Let her live her life, don't look. Boom, and rewarding, getting her to move, getting her to understand that. Pulling and rewarding. There we go, she ate again. You see that though, how she hesitated? So it makes me a little bit more, you know, I'm like, okay, it's all good. Pulling and rewarding. Perfect. Okay. We're gonna go back and do that sit exercise. Okay. So we're gonna go like this, sit. Now our goal is to keep rewarding her and not correcting her for breaking the sit. Because if you can keep rewarding it, great, but you're gonna have to correct at some point, but I don't wanna do that. And I'm assuming she does not know sit, even though she does, so I'm gonna be extremely gentle when I'm first guiding her back into the sit. So I'm gonna go like this. Good. Reward. Good. Reward. I'm trying to just keep coming back in. Good. Reward. Now, I'd like to do like 5 goods. Good. Reward. It looks really good. Now I'm gonna go too far and have her break, just so you guys can learn the next step. So I'm gonna go like this. No, pull up on the leash. Boom. Good. That way she learns that giving into pressure is acceptable. So good. If I can get those 5 rewards in, I'm totally good. Totally fine to give her some freedom. So I'm gonna have her break again. I'm gonna go like this. Good. Oh, that was awesome. Okay, that was really, really good. Good. No. Good. You guys kind of see how that works? A little bit? Super gentle. Then we're gonna go like this. And it was Nizoni or Nizoni?
Nizoni.
Nizoni?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay. Nizoni. Brick. Bricky, 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 little bricky. Now I'm guiding her in front like this. Bricky, little bricky dog, go bricky. Go bricky dog, go bricky, bricky, bricky dog, bricky. Take a bricky dog. Who's gonna get you? Bricky, little bricky. Bricky, little bricky. Now in the beginning, I'm having a lot more fun and I'm getting excited because I really want to create a very obvious difference in her behavior between calm and break. But as you progress with the break, you want to do it really calmly, because if you get it really excited with the break, it becomes more like burning out in a car. Burning out in a car is fun, but you're more likely to crash and have an accident happen. So I'm going to be getting way more excited now than I ever would in the future. But there's differences on what you do to teach just to get her out of the mindset.
Ricky, little Ricky, 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 girl, Ricky, oh, Ricky, hey, Ricky, hey, Ricky.
She jumps on me right now. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it, because you have to think, win the battle, not the war. I just want her to be happy and let loose. Now, if I'm elderly or something, I can't. Okay, here we go. This is perfect. Now she's in break mode. She's allowed to smell. She's allowed to be a dog. Key with this is same principles, just not as sharp of a correction. You want to just let her be Ricky, 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 Ricky dog, Ricky dog,
Ricky dog, Ricky, Ricky, Ricky.
And then if she's Ricky, I'm encouraging her out. Now if she goes too far, I stop. I let the prong engage. I'm not trying to yank too hard. I'm really trying to let her let loose. I don't want her to pull on break. I want her to smell and have the full extent of the leash. But I don't want her to pull, so I'm going to stop periodically and just let the break.
Ricky, Ricky, Ricky dog.
Whoa, sure, whoa. Break. I'm just trying to let her let loose. And I stop and let her do her thing. Now, I'm not going to add too many words right now, but if you were to use words, I use slow for if she's too far in front of me and I want her to slow down. And I use slow or easy. I typically will say easy. And then if I want her to move away, move farther up or move away from something, I'll say let's go. So right here, if I want her to move, I would say let's go. Okay? But right now we're just going to go non-verbal and just kind of get her used to it. Stop.
Shirky girl, Shirky.
And this is typically the way that I'm going to enjoy my walk in the future. Mostly on break. Mostly on break. Just be a dog, but don't pull me. One rule that I learned on break is that once the dog goes to the bathroom, always give them more time on break. Because if you immediately restrict their freedom on break, what's going to happen is they're going to hold their bathroom and as long as possible to get the longest break possible. Because they learn as soon as I go, I lose my freedom. So it's important that after they go to the bathroom, you give them a little bit more freedom.
Break, Ricky, little Ricky, good break. Go, breaky dog. Go, breaky dog. Ricky, little Ricky, Ricky, Ricky. Go. Turkey. Turkey.
Just trying to have a good time and see she can smell. Let's go. Up. No, body.
Ricky, little Ricky. Ricky, little Ricky, 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 Ricky.
That's just what I do. I just just happy and just let her live her life. Just don't pull me. That's all I ask. Just do not pull me. And a lot of the times, as long as you take to get them on to come, it takes about that same amount of time to let them de-stress. Let's go. Good job. Do you have a bag? Do we have bags?
Do I? No.
No?
They're all over
Find
the
a bag.
place here, like every corner, pretty much.
Okay. Perfect. Oh, there's one over there. How do you feel so far, Brent?
Pretty good, pretty good.
What are your takeaways so far from the lesson?
My takeaways, let's see. I guess I'm noticing like kind of the idea of keeping things moving, like if she's reacting to something or kind of pulling, it's just like not like freezing up and just kind of, that was definitely something new.
Sit. Good girl. No. Sit. Good girl. Ricky. Awesome. So I'm gonna give her a little bit more of a break, and then when we get back in, I know we're getting closer to Kettner.
Okay.
So once we get over to Kettner, I'm gonna put her into the structured mode again. I'm gonna show you a couple different commands.
Okay. Should I stop or just keep it going?
You can probably I think we're probably good. It's kind of the same. I think we got the points with the easy.
Oh, you think we're good?
No, maybe I think we're good I think we're good to stop with the video.
Okay.
Awesome, guys. We're over here in Little Italy, and I'm going to show you a few of the other moves that are necessary for us to be a competent, excellent dog walker. So we've got the stop and pop. You guys have probably mastered that one already. Now we're going to be doing the turn and glide, or whatever the other terminology is going to be for it. What we're going to do is we're going to be stepping to the side and yanking behind our back. And what that's going to do is be able to get us around distractions that are right at our side. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to use this as a basic example. We're going to walk like this, come. I'm going to step to my left, fold to my right, bam. And then here with the food. Boom. So I got the food in my hand already. Step to this side, bam, yank behind the back. Guidance right here. So there's the distraction. Let's say this is the distraction. We've got a dog right here, so this is perfect. We got the distraction. We're walking. We're doing our thing. He starts to, let's say, he starts to fixate over to the left. Bam. Oh, she didn't even give me that opportunity. She didn't even give me the opportunity. So we're walking. Okay. Doing a really, really good job. But the key is, I'm going to throw some right over here. Bam. To this side. You see how I move away? I pop and move. Stick and move, baby. Move. I'm gonna throw some food over there and move this way. Oh, that's the move. Now, this is the last and most important move in dog training. It's a body language move. It's a turnaround move. I learned this one from Larry Crone as well. And we'll go back over to the fountain. Come. What we're going to be doing is using our body language to get her to respect our positioning and honestly ourselves as a human being. Dogs, the way that they communicate is with body language. They can't use leashes, food, or communication. It's all based off of body language. So this is communicating with the dog at the most primal level. It is critical for you guys to remember this. Do not do this move if the dog has any percentage of being reactive in the moment, because you're going to be doing a turn like this, and her mouth is going to be right near your inner thigh, and you will get bit. Even if you don't think your dog will bite you, it is a high percentage chance that it can happen. So this is a good move if you're just walking and you're going to turn around, or she's pulling a lot but she's not overly agitated. But this is one of the most powerful moves. I've had it before where I'm doing yank, food, yank, all this stuff, getting nowhere, and I'm like, what am I going to do? Do the one turn move, bam, because the dog realized, hey, I respect you, not the equipment. And the more that you can use body language in training, the more reliant your dog's going to be on you as a person, not the equipment that you're using. That way you can walk her on a shoestring and she'll behave the same way because she respects you, not the equipment. We're going to do it one time right here. Come. Getting her to move out of my body language. Now I'm using the outside knee right here. The reason why I'm doing that is so that she can see what she could do differently to avoid it. If I do the inside knee, she gets bumped in the head. She has no idea what she could have done differently. But by using that outside knee, she sees it in advance. And if she sees it in advance, she feels like she can prevent it. And if you feel like you can prevent something, then you take active measures to avoid it. So we're walking, come. Outside knee, bam. She's in the way. Boom. Gets rewarded. Okay. We're gonna do it one more time. Walking. Bam. Pause. Boom. Yep. All right, hey. Ricky, Ricky, oh, Ricky, 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 Ricky. Awesome, guys.
Good girl. She's a good girl. She's a good girl.
Little break.
Stop.
Yeah.